Death has a way of exposing what's really inside the human heart. Many believers, without realizing it, do things at funerals that grieve the Spirit of God. Not every tear is holy, and not every tradition at a graveside honors the Lord. Ecclesiastes 7:2 says it's better to go to a house of mourning than a house of feasting, because death is the destiny of everyone, and the living should take it to heart. That means a funeral is never just a ceremony. It's a sacred moment that calls for the same discernment you'd bring into any spiritual space. We're not called to ignore grief or pretend it doesn't hurt, but we are called to grieve differently than those with no hope. What you do at a funeral, what you allow into that moment, can shape your spirit more than you realize. So today, 7 things you should never do at a funeral. 1. Never grieve as those with no hope. 1 Thessalonians 4:13 reminds us not to grieve like the rest of mankind who have no hope. Cry. Even Jesus wept at Lazarus' tomb. But don't let sorrow collapse into despair or make you question God's goodness out loud. 2. Never consult mediums or try to contact the dead. Deuteronomy 10:10-11 is direct. No divination, no sorcery, no consulting the dead. Grief makes us vulnerable, and whatever responds in those sessions is never the person you lost. Take your sorrow to God in prayer, not to a stranger in a dark room. 3. Never turn the funeral into a performance instead of worship. Proverbs 14:30 warns that envy rots the bones. Don't compete over who cries loudest or who's most devastated. A funeral is meant to point people to Christ, not become a stage. 4. Never bury unforgiveness alongside the body. Mark 11:25 says to forgive so your Father in heaven can forgive you. It doesn't say unless they've died. Unforgiveness doesn't disappear at a funeral, it calcifies. Don't let the casket close while your heart stays locked. 5. Never place your hope in rituals or superstitions instead of Christ. Colossians 2:8 warns against being taken captive by hollow traditions rather than Christ. A soul's eternal rest was sealed the moment they took their last breath, not by a candle or an object placed by them. 6. Never gossip about the deceased or their family. Proverbs 13:13 and James 1:26 both call out loose talk. Whispered judgments in hallways and parking lots turn someone's worst day into entertainment. That's not careless, it's cruel. 7. Never leave a funeral without examining your own readiness before God. Psalm 90:12 asks God to teach us to number our days. A funeral is a mirror. Don't walk out unchanged. Let it press you closer to the cross. Funerals aren't just rituals we attend out of obligation. They're sacred appointments where heaven and earth feel close. Grieve with hope, forgive quickly, and let every graveside remind you to draw nearer to God. If this spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it before their next funeral, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next message. Drop a comment. I choose to grieve with hope.